Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our presentation is about thinking, what makes us human. So these are the presenters: Sufyan Kahol, Ahmed Tariq, Hussein Adnan, Abdul Rahman Rad, Yusuf Ali, and Shahabuddin Ayman. 27 times 6. Is it going to rain today? What measure should I choose? What is the breakfast today? All these kind of questions come across our minds every day. Once you see or think about these questions, you may need some time or few seconds to answer the questions, so that your brain receives the questions and process or function to give you back the answers, right? So this process is called thinking. Thinking is entirely related to our daily activities, whether it is mental or physical activities or even feelings. For example, you feel, you think, you touch, you think, you smell, you think, you hear, you think, you see, you think, you move, you think, you study, you think. As long as your brain works, that means you're thinking. Okay, so since thinking is directly attached to our daily lives, let's go ahead and explore the definition of thinking. So generally speaking, or in general, the definition of thinking is a mental process which allows beings to model the world and so to deal with it effectively according to their goals, plans, ends, and desires. Okay, so this is the definition in general, but the definition can be defined, or thinking can be defined differently according to different perspectives. Okay, so we have, for example, biology, psychology, linguistically, etymology, and usage. Let's see one by one. In biological perspective, thinking is related to a neuron, in which neurons are excitable cells in the nervous system that process and transmits information by electrochemical signaling. Okay, so it's all about sending signals to the brain. For example, if you touch something hot, okay, so your hand or the nerves in your hand will send signals to your brain. Okay, so and your brain will process these signals and give you the thoughts. What are these thoughts? It's gonna be, this body is hot. Okay, so this is in terms of biology. For psychology, psychologists have concern on thinking as an intellectual exertion aimed at finding answers to a questions or the solution of a particular problem. Okay, so in psychological perspective, it's all about finding solutions for problems or finding answers. All right, so linguistically, let's see in terms of language. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, it's the activity of using your mind to consider something. Okay, according to the American Dictionary, in terms of opinion, the process of forming an opinion or idea about something, or in other words, the opinions or ideas formed by the process. Okay, use of reason, the process of using your mind to understand matters, make judgments, and solve problems. Okay, so in terms of etymology and usage, in common language, the word to think covers numerous and diverse psychological activities. It often refers merely to the act of being conscious of something. It's sometimes a synonym for tending to believe. At other times, it denotes the degree of attentiveness. All right, so all these complicated words is in terms of scientific definitions. Okay, but how about if we want simple definitions? So that's why we hit the streets and ask people randomly about what would they define thinking. So spare some time to check out this video.
What is thinking?
Well, thinking to me pertains to manipulating information so I can solve problems that maybe face me in the future, in my life, or in my work, or in my studies.
Thinking is part of life because once the brain is there, you expectations, think about it, what to do, how to do it, when to do it, all these things of thinking. There's an adage that says, think twice.
Sure. Exactly. Thank you.
Thinking is like tossing an idea around your head, making information, and engage in problem solving and making decisions.
I think thinking is the process when you take a step back and process the information about what's happening around.
My opinion, I think thinking is about to analyze some information.
Thinking is a process in which our minds, like, we tell our opinion.
Give me the definition of thinking.
Oh, the definitions. So in my point of view, right?
Yeah.
So in my point of view is like the process of considering about something. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and hi everyone, this is Tariq. And now let's move on to a more detailed part of our topic, which is brain potential. And before we can get into this topic, we have to know what is meant by brain potential first. So, in order to define this, we have two definitions of the brain potential. One is medically and the other one is a general definition. Medically, it's the electrical charges transmitted from the brain as compared to a point on the body. It may be steady or may fluctuate at different frequencies when recorded against time. And generally, it's the proof on how our brain is very powerful and is able to respond to different and variety of situations occurring in our life. And we have something else called event-related potential, or ERP, which is the measured brain response in the direct result of a specific sensory, cognitive, or a motor event. Our brain gives different electrical charges in order to respond to different types of situations. For example, when you put your hand on a hot surface, then your brain will automatically send electrical charges to your hand to remove it from the source of heat. All this will happen in less than 1 second, which is very amazing. Our human brain is extraordinary, and there is a scientific myth claiming that normal human beings are using only a maximum capacity of 10% of their total human brain potential. But records have shown that some may encounter a difference in that number. As example, Albert Einstein, who was said to reach 15% of his total brain capacity, which is an amazing number in according to normal human beings, which only 10% of the total capacity. Here are some quick facts to show that our brain is very powerful. The first one is that our brain has enough atomic power to build the world's major cities over and over again. Our brain is able to process 30 billion bits of information a second, and it has 12 trillion nerve cells and 10 billion neurons. And here we have a video of an experiment held by an organization called ABSA to show and prove how brain is very powerful and capable of doing things that computers cannot do. Let's see.
Just how powerful is the human mind? Is AI destined to take our place? Or is the human brain capable of more than we ever imagined? We held an experiment to find out. We invited 8 Rising Eagles graduate alumni and 6 members of the Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra together with one question. Can you make a music track using just the human brain without musical instruments? We connected nodes to each participant. Then, using neurotransmitter technology, we tracked their individual brainwaves. Each one created a unique sound. Some were slow and melodic, some faster, some changed pace and tone, each one creating its own sonic soundscape. Our finding? The brain is powerful enough to create music without using a single musical instrument. But we also came across a further discovery. We decided to combine the sounds, and we discovered that together they made a powerful piece of music, demonstrating the capability of multiple brains collaborating. You are about to hear it. We believe in the power of the human brain, which is why our Rising Eagles graduate program brings together Africa's brightest young minds using their smarts and hearts together with technology to grow their careers and our continent. Apply today.
We know that our brain is separated into two parts, the right part and the left part. Science says that the right part is a creative part, while the left part is a logic part. Right brain people are said to be more creative, free-thinking, able to see the big picture, intuitive, and likely to visualize more than think than word. While the left brain people are said to be more analytical, logical, detail and fact-oriented, numerical, and likely to think in words. And this can show us that each part is responsible for some actions we take in our daily life. For example, for the right part, it will be responsible for the love of music, cooking, and other arts, while the left part will be for the analyzing problems and solve all the questions we can get in our study.
Hi everyone, my name is Yusuf and I'm going to talk about ways to improve your brain power. So let's start with number one. Number one is exercising. We all know that we should be getting regular exercise. However, most entrepreneurs lead busy, rushed lives and can't always find time to fit physical activity in. The trick might be to think it in reverse. You can't afford not to exercise if you want to live a long, healthy, productive life. Exercise not only benefits your brain health and cognition, it can also improve your memory. In the long run, it can even protect your brain against degeneration. If that isn't reason enough to get into a regular workout routine, who knows what is? Number two, get some sunlight. Sunlight and exercise can sometimes go hand in hand. This mostly depends on what part of the world you live in, how much sunlight is available at different times of the year, and how realistic it is for you to spend time in the outdoors. Getting too little sunlight is not enough for your brain. Higher levels of vitamin D in your system allow you to perform better and can even slow down the aging of your brain. Too much sunlight can be bad for your skin, but if you aren't getting enough, your brain functions may suffer. Of course, you can always take vitamin D supplements if you find that you are not able to get outside as much as you would like to. Just remember to take supplements in moderation. Number three, build strong connections. It has often been said that the entrepreneurial journey is a lonely one, as it turns out. That may not be good for your cognitive functions. If you often feel lonely, it can actually result in psychological and cognitive decline, as this feeling can have a negative impact on your sleep, increase your blood pressure, contribute to depression, and even lower your overall well-being. Most entrepreneurs know how to communicate and build connections. The key thing is to build a strong support system around you, as that will enable you to stay healthy mentally and psychologically over the long term. So let's move to number four, meditation. Meditation is a trending topic among many entrepreneurs right now, and its benefits are hard to argue with. Not only does meditation reduce your stress levels,
It can also prevent age-related disorders such as Alzheimer. This speaks to the importance of self-care. Taking a mere 10 to 15 minutes out of your day to practice meditation could extend your cognitive longevity and allow you to reduce your overall stress levels too. This is the end of my part, so thank you for your listening.
Assalamu alaikum, I am Shahab al-Din. My part is to discuss about brain anatomy. The brain can be divided into 4 sections, which are known as loop: the frontal loop, parietal loop, occipital loop, and temporal loop. Every one of these loops has its function. First one is frontal loop. Frontal loop located at the front of the brain and is associated with reasoning, motor skill, higher level communication, and expressive language. At the back of the frontal lobe, this area of the brain receives information from various lobes of the brain and uses this information to carry out body movement. Second one is parietal lobe. Parietal lobe is located in the middle section of the brain and is associated with processing tactile sensory information such as pressure, touch, pain. So this parietal lobe is essential to processing the body sense. Third one we have is the temporal lobe. The temporal lobe is located in the bottom section of the brain. This lobe is very important, which is used for interpreting sound and the language which is heavily associated with the information of memory that we hear from the sound. Okay, fourth one we have is the occipital lobe. The occipital lobe is located at the back portion of the brain and is associated with interpreting visual stimuli and information. The primary visual cortex, which receives and interprets information from the retinas of the eye, and it is located in the occipital lobe. The brain is made up of many specialized areas that work together, like the cortex, the brainstem, the basal ganglia, and cerebellum. First one is the cortex. The cortex is the outmost layer of the brain cell. Thinking and voluntary movement begin in the cortex. So cortex, it is the main one of these 4 specialized areas. Second one is the brainstem. The brainstem is between the spinal cord and the rest of the brain. Basic function is breathing and sleep only, are controlled here by the brainstem. Third one is the basal ganglia, are a cluster of a structure in the center of the brain. The basal ganglia is coordinate message between multiple other brain areas, like it is connected with most of the body. Fourth one is the cerebellum, as it is the base and the back of the brain. The cerebellum is responsible for coordinate and balance of the body. So here the brainstem is comprised of the 2 hindbrain and the midbrain. The hindbrain consists of 3 parts, which is the medulla, the bones, the reticulum. First one is the medulla. Medulla is located directly above the spinal cord and controls many important and vital automatic functions such as heart rate and breathing and blood pressure. Second one is the bones, connected the medulla to cerebellum and help coordinate movement as each side of the body. And the reticular is the formation is a neutral network that located in the medulla and help control functions such as sleep and attention. So as we said at this slide, that the brainstem is the basic function for breathing and sleep are controlled. So it consists of these 3 that made of this that coordinate between blood pressure, breathing, and sleep. So second one is the midbrain. Midbrain controls many important functions such as the visual and auditory system, as well as eye movement. Portion of the midbrain called the red nucleus and the substantia nigra are involved in the control of the body movement, as we see in the picture. Facing.
Assalamu alaikum and hello everybody. My name is Abdurrahman and today I'm going to talk about what does mean of higher order thinking and what is a Bloom taxonomy and how it divides its skills. The last thing I will talk about the other benefit of higher order thinking. Higher order thinking is a concept that knows on the different type of learning and on the difference in the amount of cognitive processing. In fact, it is a way to help the student and not just memorize and also improve their cognitive ability. These skills come to us in the form of Bloom taxonomy. What does the mean of a Bloom taxonomy? A Bloom taxonomy would give us a hierarchy of levels that create higher order thinking. And also it is divided into many levels. I will start with the first one is called remembering. It is basically ability to remember a previous learned material by recalling facts, terms and basic answers. The second thing is understanding, which is understanding of facts and idea by organizing, comparing, interpreting information that a student has learned. The third level is application. This level is a way for the student to solve a problem and how can treat it with the problem by applying their knowledge and technique. The fourth level is called analyzing, and this level also is important because which let the student break information into bits by base of identifying the causes and or effect and finding evidence to support their claims. The fifth level is evaluating, which is where students make judgment on information and find the validity of the idea or work. The last level, which depends on the previous level, is called creating, where the student can combine information that they have together to create a new pattern or a new solution or a new idea. The last three levels, analyzing, evaluating and creating, is very beneficial to the student because it helps them with the critical thinking and problem solving. This allows the student to take their knowledge and apply it to other things beyond the classroom and apply it to their lives. The last thing is the other benefit of higher order thinking. In fact, these skills not only help a child to learn, but help them use the knowledge beyond the classroom. Thirdly, through this level, the student will see why this information they learn is useful and helpful in their life. They can apply the information to solve a problem at home, at work, or in any place, or sometimes gain experience with their knowledge. Most students see schoolwork as a pointless, busy work. For me, honestly, I saw a lot of my schoolwork as pointless, thought out of my life with the Bloom taxonomy. Student will not only know the purpose of the information they are learned, but they more motivate to learn as well. If they know the importance of the information they learn and understand the usefulness of it, students will most definitely be more motivated to learn. and this is all about the higher order thinking.
Now let's move on to our last part of our presentation, which is thinking skills. Thinking skills has 7 parts of thinking. The first one is creative thinking, critical thinking, inductive and deductive thinking, lateral thinking, analytical thinking, and the last one, which is strategic thinking. Let's start with the first one. Creative thinking skills. It's a way of thinking that something new or different. It involves having a different idea generates that works as well or better than previous ideas. It is generative and divergent. Creative thinking skills are important in many professions and workplace. From the word creative, it seems like useful only for artists, designers, writers, and marketers. The best example for creative thinking is problem solving, creative thinking, open-mindedness, analysis, communication, and leadership. Now we'll move on to the second type of thinking, which is critical thinking. Critical thinking, a way of thinking that assesses the worth and validate of something in extent. It involves precise, present and objective analysis. In order to apply critical thinking, there are a few steps. 1. Identify the problem. 2. Create inference on why the problem exists. 3. Collect information or data from the problem or issue. 4. Organize and sort data and finding. 5. Develop and execute solution. 6. Analyze. 7. Identify ways to improve solutions. The third type of thinking is inductive thinking. Inductive thinking, this is the process of reasoning from parts to the whole, from examples to generalization, and analyzing specific observation to reach general conclusion. Works from specific observation to broader generalization, and theories is more open-ended and exploratory, especially at the beginning. From this graph, we can see that the last stage in inductive is theory, and the first stage, the theory, is the first stage at deductive thinking. Deductive thinking is the opposite for inductive thinking. This type of reasoning moves from the whole to its parts, from generalization to underlying concepts to examples, works from the more general to more specific, from the general theory to predict specific instance. The fifth type of thinking is analytical thinking. The abstract separation of whole into its constituent parts in order to study the parts and their relations, separation and distinguishing elements of a concept, idea, problem, and issue in order to understand its essential nature and inner relationships. Let's take a look at some example of analytical skills. 1. Programming. 2. Reporting. 3. Handler. And 4. Collect information. The other type of thinking is strategic thinking. Thinking skill in seeing issue, problems, and opportunities in a larger and broader perspective, and being able to understand the interrelation of all elements involved, so that the best course of action could be formulated to achieve the desired goals. An example for strategic thinking: every business leaders should use a strategic thinking process in approaching goals and overcoming obstacles. 3 common components of strategic thinking is innovation, strategy planning, operational planning. The last type of thinking is lateral thinking. The concept was introduced by Edward de Bono in 1967, which means a way of thinking that involves multiple parallel approach An example of multiple approach in thinking is Edward de Bono, 6 thinking hat. As we discussed in the last assignment, the 6 hat can analyze any process or program like COVID-19. Thank you very much.
So in conclusion, thinking is a small word with big variance meanings. So if we were to define thinking along with perception is what makes us human.
Our brain potential is incomparable. Marvelous power lies in this little organ. Not even a computer can beat it.
More than anything else, improving your brain power is about habits, and habits take time to build. The best approach is to focus on 1 or 2 things at a time. Giving your life a complete makeover is going to prove much more challenging, and the habits you attempt to develop may not stick. This is counterproductive.
The human brain is very complex and interesting organ in the human body. It is so interesting that there have been extreme amount of research by scientists studying the role of the brain.
Human has different types of thinking to solve the problem. One of them is use higher order thinking. It consists from 6 levels. Start with remembering and end with creating.
Humans have different types of thinking skills to solve various events, which they can improvise according to the situation. For example, lateral thinking provides problem and its solutions. And
this is what makes us
human.
Thank you.